What if I told you that you can make your own DIY custom shower curtain with no sewing skills? Well, I'm Serena Appiah from thriftdiving.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how I made my own DIY shower curtain with no sewing machine. There is no stitching, and you know what? I did it with just some iron-on tape, a few other materials, and the Fastener multi-grommet tool kit. So with this project, you're going to be able to take your custom fabric and really coordinate any colors in your bathroom without being limited to what's already on the market. So let's jump right into it. In addition to the Fastener grommet toolkit and the iron-on tape, you will need a hammer, an iron, a measuring tape, some scissors, and some pretty fabric. Remove your old shower curtain and take your tape measure, measuring the width and the height of your shower. Now remember, you have to add in some additional inches for the seam allowances, but we'll go through that in just a moment. Next, find a large surface to spread out your fabric. Now take your measurements and add enough inches to the top of the height in order to allow for the seam allowances, and do the same for the sides if necessary. Now here's a really great tip for getting an even cut. Trust me, this is very difficult to do even if you have experience with sewing. Things can just go awry. But if you make that little cut and grab those fibers, surprisingly, it will create a very even run in your fabric, and you can use that as a cutting line and get nice, crisp, clean edges, and your project will look more professional. Okay, so now that we have straight edges, we are ready to start at the top of the shower curtain. You're going to turn that fabric under about 5/8 of an inch and press. Now for the next step, we're going to create an even bigger hem of about 3 inches. So make sure you have a tape measure or some other measuring device, and you will measure 3 inches and then press. And I like to go back and check just to make sure that I've got the right measurements and everything is even. Now for the next step, you want the shiny side to go down on the fabric. So that hem that we just created, open it back up and place the shiny side of the no-sew tape onto the fabric. And then you'll want to use your iron and just press it very lightly, and it will stick to the fabric. You'll also want to cut another sliver of fabric to put in the top hem of your shower curtain. This will give the top a little bit more stability. Check that it fits, and once it does, peel off the backing of that no-sew tape, fold it over, and iron it into place. Now, if this is your first time using iron-on tape, you will be tempted to pull up that seam to see if it's working. I can tell you that it will, but if you've got thicker fabric, apply more heat and let it thoroughly cool down before you check that seam. And once it's cool, you can do the sides of the shower curtain the exact same way. Here I turned them under about 1 inch, added the no-sew tape, peeled off the backing, and then turned it under another 1 inch. So those seams are going to be much smaller. Now remember, this is thick fabric. If you are using thick fabric, it will need a lot of heat and it will need to thoroughly cool. You'll want to check to make sure that there's no gaps. So run your finger along the seam, and if you see that there's any gaps, apply some heat to it, and again, let it cool before you move on to the next step. And now we're ready for the grommets. Placing them about 6 inches apart, I then marked them with a pen, and that's where I'm going to have to create my holes with the Fastener grommet kit tools. The kit comes with a wood backer block, a universal punch body with 2 screw-on punch heads. Now I'm using the 3/8 inch for this project, and 2 hole punches, again using the small 3/8 inch, and a 2-sided anvil. The kit only comes with 6 grommets in each size, so I definitely recommend that you get the refill because you will need 9 to 12 grommets total for your project. Place your fabric over the backer block and use the 3/8 inch hole punch and a hammer to create that hole. Now we've got some pretty thick fabric here, so it may not go through cleanly. If that's the case, just use some scissors, clean it up, and it'll look pretty good. Since we're using 3/8 inch grommets, we're going to use that side of the anvil. We're going to put a grommet on there, slip the fabric over, and put on a ring to secure it. We'll use the 3/8 inch punch head, give it a few taps with the hammer, and it should secure it. If you notice that it's a little wobbly, go ahead and give it a few more taps, and that should secure it. All of your holes will be done exactly the same. The shower curtain had 9 holes, and so all of them were done in the exact same manner, and it looked pretty good. And the final step was to create a hem on the bottom using the iron-on tape, just like we did for the sides and the top. And there you have it. It looks beautiful, and if you recall, this is what the shower curtain looked like in my bathroom before. It was getting a little dirty, it was kind of boring, and I really wanted something that was unique, and I couldn't find it in the store. And this is what it looks like now. It looks amazing. No sewing machine needed. With just a few tools from Fastener and some fabric and some iron-on tape, we were able to create this amazing custom shower curtain. And if you need a wider shower curtain, you can actually join pieces of fabric using iron-on tape and create a wider shower curtain. Go to YouTube and search for thrift diving iron-on tape, and it will give you instructions on how to do this. Well, if you enjoyed this project, go to Fastener blog for more inspiration for projects, and be sure to go to thriftdiving.com to find me, Serena Appiah, and I will see you next project.